Mr. Speaker, good morning. What would you do this morning if you were president?
Well, I think you have to reassure the Afghan people that there will be transparency, that justice will be done. We're the opposite from Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. They kill civilians deliberately. We protect civilians, and when a tragedy like this occurs, we have an absolute obligation to deal with it out in the open, and to do so to ensure that justice is done and that they know how serious we are about protecting the innocent of every background and every nationality.
You were pretty strong about the president's apology over the burning of the Quran. Well, what can he say now? What should he say now?
Well, look, this is a totally different situation. With the burning of the Quran, they were killing young Americans. And no American president should apologize to people who are in the process of killing young Americans. This is a different situation. We obviously want to offer condolences to the families. I think we want to offer compensation. We want to recognize this is a terrible event. And as I said, we are in the business worldwide of protecting the innocent. Our enemies, the terrorists, are in the business worldwide of killing the innocent. And we need to make very clear that moral distinction, and then we have to live up to that distinction.
Is it time for us to leave Afghanistan, Mr. Speaker?
I think it is. I think that we have to reassess the entire region. I think the revelations about Pakistan having hidden bin Laden for 7 years in a military city near their National Defense University, and then hunting down not the people who were protecting bin Laden, but hunting down the people who were helping America. I think the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, when you look around the region, this is going to get much worse. It's why I've called for an American energy policy. We need to decide that we're going to produce our own oil, and we're going to, frankly, be capable of surviving without having to define or dominate the region, because I don't think we have the willpower or the capacity to do the things you'd have to do to fundamentally change the region.
You say it is time to leave. Do you mean just let's leave? Let's start leaving right now, not
I think we need to
around.
reconsider the whole. I think we need to reconsider the whole region. We need to understand that our being in the middle of countries like Afghanistan is probably counterproductive. We're not prepared to be ruthless enough to force them to change, and yet we are clearly an alien presence. That was the real meaning of the reaction to the Koran burning. I mean, the fact is those Korans had been, in fact, defaced by Muslims who were prisoners. They had been abused by Muslims, not by Americans, and yet the instantaneous anti-foreigner sentiment is so deep that I think we need to recognize that we're walking on eggshells in places like Afghanistan. And after $20 billion in the last decade, it's pretty hard to argue that the Pakistanis are seriously our allies when they hide bin Laden for 7 years.
All right. Let's talk a little politics here. Last week you told us you had to win Georgia, and you did win, but now it looks like you've got a little competition shaping up in Alabama and Mississippi. Are these must-win states for you, Mr. Speaker?
Well, the states I want to win, I think the states we're going to do very well in. We're going to get a lot of delegates in both Mississippi and Alabama, and I think the odds are pretty good that we'll win them. We're campaigning in both Alabama and Mississippi today and tomorrow. We've had great reaction, great crowd response, and we have good organization in both states. You're always playing catch up a little bit to Romney because of the scale of his money and how early he starts advertising. But the truth is, we've caught up pretty dramatically, and I think we'll have a good day on Tuesday. And I'm committed to going all the way to Tampa. Part of this, Bob, is I have 175,000 people who've donated to the campaign. 95% of them have given under $250. They want a visionary conservative in the Reagan tradition, and I think they deserve to have a voice. And I'm doing everything I can, starting with our American energy policy and our proposal for $2.50 a gallon or less for gasoline, to outline the kind of future we'd like to have.
Let me just play for you something that John McCain, your Republican colleague, said. He is a Romney man, of course, but he told me this week that the longer this campaign goes on, the more he worries about it. Here's what he said.
So every day between now and November that is devoted to winning the primary is lost on winning the general election. And that, I have to tell you, it makes me very worried about our chances of winning in November.
Now, a group of conservatives, social conservatives, people like Tony Perkins, a Family Research Council, and others, said this week that you could be a kingmaker, that you ought to get out of this and throw your support to Santorum. What about that?
Well, first of all, Senator McCain's memory is exactly backwards. It was Senator McCain who won the nomination early. It was Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton who fought all the way into mid-June. It didn't seem to hurt Barack Obama to have a vigorous contest. He won the election, remember? So I think that Senator McCain has it backwards. Second, the same people who have been for Santorum are for Santorum. I get it. But the fact is I have significant differences with Senator Santorum. And, you know, all conservatives aren't the same. As leader of the House, we balanced the budget for 4 straight years. As a member of the Senate leadership team, Senator Santorum ran up $1.7 trillion in deficits and had to raise the debt ceiling 5 times. I am for less regulation. I've called for repealing Sarbanes-Oxley, which is really hurting American business. Senator Santorum helped pass it. On economic issues, I am much, much more conservative than Senator Santorum. But more importantly, on big, long-term vision level things, like an American Energy Plan, like a personal Social Security account for young Americans, like a project on brain science to help Alzheimer's and autism and Parkinson's and mental health. We're a different kind of people. I represent the Reagan tradition of very large ideas. He represents being a team player on a Washington team. It's not the same kind of conservatism.
Mr. Speaker, we always appreciate you stopping by and answering the questions. Thank you so much, and I'm sure we're going to be talking to you further down the trail. Much obliged.